And here we go. Welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Um, Everybody survive your Thanksgiving breaks? Wonderful. Okay, so today what we're going to be diving into is exploring different AAC apps. And our journey today is getting on the same page, looking into the field of options, and then comparing and contrasting specific popular applications. So just to get our brains targeted on the topic, let me know in the chat, what AAC app are you most familiar with? I'm seeing a nice range here. TouchChat, TD Snap, Lamp, Tobii Dynavox devices. What do you like about the app you're most familiar with? And what are some faults? What don't you like about the apps you're most familiar with? I'm seeing in the chat you like the search feature, but you have to log in. Sometimes it can be difficult to find different words or program them, the core word setup and the way it's designed to grow. TD Snap has great icons and it's easy to look things up, but some things aren't in there. TD Snap is intuitive and you love the search option, but can be overwhelming. Often the kids know the ins and outs. On TouchChat, it can be simple to use, but sometimes you get navigate away from the page and you don't expect it. And sometimes parents want a quick fix and they're not always willing to learn the different programs. Thank you for your input and for considering those things. So the first thing that I want to do is just get us all on the same page and talk in the same language. First of all, what is AAC? I think that everybody in this group could probably define it, but there are a few names that are newer to me. So let's define it. What is AAC? AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication, and it's any sort of method of communicating that isn't using mouth words or oral language. Augment in this case is to improve or enhance communication, whereas alternative is having an entirely other way to communicate. So thinking of augment might be for an individual who has a lot of mouth words, but they're really hard to understand. AAC can augment their mouth words. Maybe they have a pretty significant language disorder and they use only one or two word phrases or have such significant grammar errors that it is difficult to understand them. Um, in this case, it would be an augmentative tool versus alternative, having a different way to communicate for our students who maybe have cerebral palsy and don't have access to their speaking mechanism, and they need a totally different way of communicating. There is a whole range of types of AAC from no tech to high tech, and all of them have importance. There's not one that is valued over another. Just like you and I communicate using a variety of different methods, so do our AAC users. So no tech is using sign language signs or gestures. Um, Light tech is usually paper-based. Mid tech usually has some batteries in there with some pre-recorded messages that somebody recorded their voice in there, and the button will speak those messages out. And then high tech has robust vocabulary, tons and tons of words to spontaneously communicate exactly what you want. And they all have their place and they're all valuable. Um, but it would be, I feel like it would be really sad for me if I only had this paper-based method to communicate, or if I only had this mid-tech button output message method of communication. Why do you feel like, why would you think that I say I don't want that? That would be sad for me, for my own communication.
Because you probably have more to say than those behind an icon or with the button.
Yeah, there's the buttons don't say enough. It's very limiting. I see in the chat too, it's very limiting. Um, I totally agree. But there are places for it. For instance, with no tech, when I say signs, I usually mean in the AAC perspective, using a few signs for getting our basic needs met, like more and want and stop, which is different than ASL, like pure ASL, which is like a complete language. But when we're using just a few signs in there, um, no tech AAC can be very, very wonderful because you don't need anything but your hands and you can get some of your needs met right away. So we don't want to throw that out, but we also want to give more. Light Tech AAC is wonderful for when you're on the go. You're going to the pool, you're going on a roller coaster, you're playing in the sand. Um, Having light tech and having some words available there can be really beneficial. Mid-tech buttons, I really love for super repetitive activities, like thinking about your students coming through the door in the morning and having a mid-tech with three options and you say, "Hey, how's your morning been?" And one of them says, "It's been great." And the other one says, "I don't want to talk about it." And the other one's like, "I'm okay." So regardless of your students' communication skills, they can participate in that very repetitive morning ritual. And then high tech's got all of those words that we use all the time. Who uses AAC? Anyone and everyone. AAC can be a temporary supplemental communication method or a primary communication method. So thinking about temporary, um, if, for instance, a couple of years ago, I had dental surgery and I had to keep my jaw still for 2 weeks. No talking, no food, solid food. And so at that point, AAC became a temporary solution for me. I brought it to work. I participated in IEP meetings with my high-tech AAC device. It may be a supplemental tool for individuals who have those mouth words, but need it to communicate when they're around people who don't have that listening ear that understands their mouth words. You can probably think of a few students that you know that the people around them who know them best can understand their mouth words, but others can't. Or for students who, when they get really overstimulated, they stop talking. This can be a supplemental tool for them too. Or our students that it's a primary communication tool. So um, it can be applicable to all of those different cases. It doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent solution. Um, it can be something that is short term. Lots of folks with these disabilities listed use AAC as a primary communication method. Individuals with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, traumatic brain injury, and as we continue to age, individuals who are experiencing stroke, Parkinson's, or degenerative neuromuscular diseases can also benefit from AAC. We also all use AAC in our day-to-day. What kind of AAC do you use? What kind of communication do you use that's not just your mouth words? Anna says texting, thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes, texting on our phones. Yes. Body language. Yes. Sending emails is a method of AAC, really. Substitute for a phone call. Passing notes. I still pass notes sometimes. So number two, we're just going to explore our field of options here. And I'm going to take a look at my AAC that's charging up over here, make sure it's working okay. Excellent. So let's look at our field of options. What comes up for you when you think about using an AAC app that you're not familiar with? Anna says fear. Lydia says she needs some time to explore. Yeah, for me, when I see an AAC system that I've never seen before, and with a student who's maybe new to the program, is just like, oh, a little bit overwhelmed of how I'm gonna figure this one out. Well, I just want you to see these are um, uh, regularly updated charts made by Call Scotland, which is a university in Scotland. Their AT department updates these, and I just want to show you that on the left here are all of the different apps for iPads that have AAC on them, and they're categorized. Um, and then on the right in the orange are all of the AAC apps available for Android devices. So I guess what I wanted to just point out is there are tons and tons and tons of options when it comes to communication apps. And each of the apps are designed to meet different individuals' needs. So I think that, oh, I'm going to go back. Go back. I'm going to escape really quick because in this folder that I shared with you. I shared these downloads, but it gives a little bit of I think I can get in a little bit closer with my Zoom. I'm going to move this around here. There we go. Plus, plus. So we see here full communication systems. We've got text-based systems, grid, symbol-based systems, and hybrid apps. So just a total range of different types of apps. Just as to get that motor running, who do you think would benefit most from text-based apps? People who are literate. Absolutely. I'm seeing that come up into the chat. People who are literate. Why would we not want to set up a totally literate AAC user with a symbol-based app? It's demeaning. I like that, Lydia. Yes, it is. Uh, It is demeaning to set a literate human up with a symbol-based app. Similarly, you're setting your students up for failure who are not literate with a text-based app. So that was just a little tiny look into why different apps are appropriate for different populations. There's a lot more to think about there, but that's just a really stark example that I think everybody can easily understand. So there are a ton of different apps, but the apps are made to meet the needs of different populations. I also have here, which I have made, I'm going to bounce out again, this feature matching chart, which I think we can get into a little bit here. I have made this because I love charts, first of all, but really for my SLPs that I teach at the university, our future SLPs, to help them get a sense of these different popular apps and all of the different um, types of features that they have. So thinking about features being like the specs of the device, like when you go to purchase a new television, you're looking for different specs, like the size of the screen and how many HDMI inputs it has, and what kind of sound systems it can be connected to, and what are I guess it's not pixels anymore, but um, what kind of visual reference it puts out. So similarly, AAC devices have all of these different specs, and it's a moving target because technology is always getting better. And getting upgraded. So this chart is there's things on it that are probably obsolete right now. But I do just want to show you just the complexity of it is here are some very popular applications. TD Snap, TD Talk, WordPower, LAMP Words for Life, Proloquo for Text, Proloquo to Go, Proloquo, Grid Supercore, Grid Beeline. So all of these different types of popular apps. And then we have all of these different features related to access method. Um, Access method meaning how they actually interact and select words or messages from the device. Why do you think that there's a whole bunch of different features related to access method? Lydia's got fine motor issues in here. Yes. What else do you think? Oh, Anna, why do you think that there's all these different types of options for access method? Yeah, people have lots of different needs. For instance, an individual who has access to their hands and fingers, meaning they can operate their hands and fingers, are going to access a device differently than someone who cannot move their arms or who doesn't have any arms. Um, Somebody is going to access it differently if they are totally blind. Um, they're going to access it differently if they have limited control of some of their arm movements, but have a little bit of access there, or control, motor control there. So access really has to do with how we're interacting with the device. And there are definite de companies and applications and features that are more well matched for individuals with complex bodies than applications and features and products that work for somebody who does not have any physical or visual limitations. Then we have display types in here. Display types are, what do you see on the screen in front of you? A fixed display means what you see doesn't move. What is behind me right here is a fixed display. None of those things move. They are always right there on that poster. Whereas a dynamic display, when I touch groups, it opens up to all these different categories. When I touch foods, it opens up to all of these different food choices. Visual scenes are, I'll give you a little show of what visual scenes look like. Gonna switch over, let's see. Stop share. Change my camera. Oh, let's see if I can make this as clear as possible. For bearing with. Okay. Visual scenes. I need to pin myself so I can see myself better. Pin. Visual scenes are when you have some sort of real picture in here, and then you've got words and messages around the picture. Sorry for the glare. Becky, do you mind turning off the light above me? So you've got a visual scene is when you have a real picture available. Okay, I'm gonna turn, thank you so much. That was so much better. I'm gonna turn my camera back on. There I am, and I'm going to share my screen again if it is possible. Share, share. Um, Vocabulary organization is a whole other area, feature area. I'm going to unpin myself so I'm not big anymore. So vocabulary organization, the way that the words are actually organized in the device and how you navigate through them. There's all these different methods of vocabulary organization. There's all these different types of symbols and messages. There's all different types of transportation and mounting, like all of these different apps have all of these different features to consider. So they are complex. Dominic nailed it when he said that they're complex. They are complex. So I just wanted you to see like the field. The field is enormous of the different AAC apps that are available. And some of them are very, very well used and well studied. These are currently, at least in Butte County, if you were to go to Sacramento County, this would look different. But the top 4 apps that are used in Butte County are TouchChat HD WordPower, TD Snap, Proloquo to Go, and Lamp Words for Life. And you will notice that underneath here, I have the by PRC Saltillo. Those are the companies that make the applications. I will just say that Toby Dynavox and PRC Saltillo are the longest living AAC companies. They have been doing AAC research and product creation since the early days. So their apps tend to be the most functional for the long term because they have put in years and years and years and years of development into them. Some of the free applications that you might see on, the Apple Store with if you went in to log in on your iPad, some of those free applications are really tempting to parents and to districts because of their cost, but ultimately they are very clunky and not made for long-term use. And I'm just going to show you what the home pages look like so you can just get a little feel. This is an example of TouchChat WordPower. This is an example of TD Snap. This is an example of Proloquo to go and an example of LAMP Words for Life. And these are really the top 4. Which app of these are you least familiar with?
What were the 4 again, besides TouchChat and
I'm going to get back there for you, Lydia. There you go. Something that really drove me to offer this class today is all of us individually as educators, and I don't just mean like all of us here today, but like all of us have apps that we are familiar with and apps that we are not familiar with. And it is very, very typical in all of the schools that I have supported for AAC, which is many, that people think that the one that is best for the student is the one that they are most familiar with. But very genuinely, the one that is best for the student is the one that meets the student's needs. We really have to, which is hard because our jobs are already very, very difficult. We have to, as educators, be open to learning about these different apps because we bear that educational responsibility to the children, like to learn some different techniques and different apps rather than putting that on the shoulders of our students. Student, you need to learn an app that I'm familiar with versus I need to learn a different app that you're familiar with. So hopefully you will see and feel more confident, at least with these top 4 by 3 p.m. So we are going to do a little bit of a dive here, and we're going to look at the similarities. And I'm going to go through all of these in a moment, but all 4 apps have a lot in common. And we're going to look at this for each app, but I'm just going to talk about it for a second. All apps have a home page. All of them have volume control within the app. All of them have the capability of searching for a word, for editing, for tapping to speak out the message, for deleting and clearing, and a keyboard. So we're going to take a look. I'm going to stop my share. I'm really talking myself through this so I don't lose track of where my video is. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna move this over a little bit, and this over a little bit. Can you see that okay-ish? Okay-ish. I know it's still kind of glary. I wonder if I can make it a little less glary. Thank you. Okay, well, So first of all, we're going to look at TouchChat WordPower. See if this helps at all. That glare. Okay, we're going to look at TouchChat WordPower and TouchChat WordPower. So this is the home page, but I also just want you to notice this is WordPower 60, which is probably the most popular of TouchChat. But within the TouchChat app, we still have under vocabulary, we still have all of these other page sets in here. We've got TouchChat Engage, My Core, Simple for Basic, the syntax 4x4s and 4x5s, spelling, vocab PCS, aphasia, multi-chat, quick chat, word power. There are a whole bunch of different options just within the app itself. I'm going to work on that really quick for you, Anna. There we go. Does this help a little? Okay, I think that will be a little bit better. So in word power, that was the 60 that we just looked at, but there's also a word power 108 within the TouchChat app. There's also within the TouchChat app, and I'm going to pin this so everybody can see me big. Let's see. Spotlight. There we go. I think that's probably, was that help? You see it better? I'm not the image quality, but the, okay, let's do this. We are going to video settings. Yeah, that's better. Working with technology, talking about technology. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. So down again in word power, I can go word power 25. And there's that many on the screen. I can go in this same app and I've got My Core, which is a text-based page set. So it's not about the app alone, but there's also other features within the app to make sure that we're matching the right vocabulary with the student. So vocab, I'm going to go back to that word power 60. This is the one that most people are the most familiar with. So this is the home page, and all of the apps have a home page. Think of the home page as the cover of a book. It doesn't matter what chapter you flip to. When you need to go back to the home page, it's like closing the book, you go back to the front. So, or you return to the front, I should say. So for instance, if I'm in Describe and I've gotten way over here and I'm like, I have no idea where I am in the device. I have no idea how I got here. What you can do is always go home, and then you will be taken back to this home page. And on all of the high-tech devices, the home pages are designed for language and literacy growth. It is not just a choice board. This home page is for communication, not just making choices. We've got plenty of choice boards in groups. Here's a choice board related to foods and snacks. Here's a choice board related to meals, related to breakfast. Here's a choice board related to sensory activities. So we've got plenty of fringe vocabulary on other pages, but this home page is really designed for language and literacy growth. What color is the word I in? I saw Lydia sign yellow. What other words are in yellow?
Pronouns and people.
Pronouns and people. Yes. When you are writing a simple sentence, where in the sentence, right, left, middle, is your pronoun or your subjective noun? It's at the beginning or on the left side. Where are our yellow pronoun words on the screen? On the left-hand side, helping us develop that place as far as language and literacy growth goes. What about the word go? What color is go? Lydia signed green. What other kinds of words are in green? Verbs. Yes, our action words are in green. Where in a simple sentence are the action words located? Left, middle, right. They're in the middle, and that's why they're in the middle of the page. So just showing you that the home page is designed for language and literacy growth, not only for our preschoolers, but when our preschoolers are fifth graders and 10th graders and 40-year-olds, these home pages are designed to help them develop deeper language, not just label things and make choices. So that's the home page, and all of the different devices have a home page. All of the different devices have volume control within the app. So if you've got a device that's locked into guided access and you can't use the external volume buttons, all of the devices have volume within the app. TouchChat likes to move things around a little bit, but on WordPower 60, if you go into groups, tips for WordPower, you can
Volume up, volume up, volume down.
adjust the volume there. All of the robust apps have a ability to search for a word on TouchChat. Again, they move it around a few times on different page sets, but on WordPower 60, it's an ABC 1, 2, 3. Find a word. Here we can search. I'm going to search for basketball. It's searching for it. This little menu comes up, and when you touch it, it actually leads you there. You see how it's highlighted play,
Play,
and then it's highlighted sports.
basketball,
So you can search for a word and it will lead you to its location. All of the different high-tech devices you can edit or customize. An example that I like to share is, so in groups, in groups, I'm gonna look up clothes and say, instead of let's see, a jacket, our family says coat. I can say menu, edit page, edit this button, coat. Done. I've got videos on how to break that down. I just wanted to demonstrate that you can edit and modify and customize the devices. All of them have a tap to speak function on TouchChat WordPower.
I, like, you,
It said all the words as I touch the buttons because that's what the settings tell it to do. But then I build the message up here and I can tap it.
I like you.
You see how it just went away really quickly? That's a setting. You can have a different setting where it stays up there and you can say it how many times that you would like. You can change the settings so when you touch it,
Like,
it doesn't say anything out loud. It just builds your utterance up here. So the tap to speak, they also all have a delete and clear function. So delete.
I, like, going,
Oops, I meant you. I'm going to delete.
you,
And then I can also clear, and the whole thing goes away. And then all of the high-tech devices have a keyboard. Here we have the keyboard right here. There's your QWERTY keyboard. We want all of our students, regardless of what we think that their cognitive and literacy skills are, to expose them to literacy skills because literacy truly is the path to freedom for all of us. So maybe today is Friday. Maybe you're doing morning meeting and you're modeling on here that today is
Friday.
Friday. Look at that word up here, Friday. Let's try to spell it. Let's go to our keyboard. The first one is F. Let's find F. Next one is R. And you can help them spell it out on the keyboard and expose them to the keyboard and those literacy skills as well. I have a current student clinician at the university that I supervise, and she has just run off with teaching literacy skills to her students, and it just makes me so happy. Okay, that was TouchChat WordPower. Now we're going to hop over to TD Snap. I'm going to go here. I'm going to open TD Snap. Here we are in TD Snap. This is just one of the page sets in TD Snap, just like TouchChat has a whole bunch of different page sets. So does TD Snap. If we go in here, create a page set, we've got the aphasia set, the core first set, English, Spanish, bilingual, scanning, express, motor plan, 30, 40, 66, bilingual versions. There's a whole bunch of different options within the TD Snap app as well. I do have a few students who use the text page set, which all of the messages on here are text-based. Lydia, do you have a question?
Sorry, going back to the QWERTY keyboard, when I was in one of our preschool classrooms today, I went to the keyboard and it had QWERTY, and so I hope I didn't mess them up because I made a button that for the alphabet because our kids actually learn it A, B, C, D, and like in order. And I made an alphabet button to link to A, B, C, D in order. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going back to my page set and first just looking at the home page. This one says right on the top, home page. Do you notice what color I is in? It's in yellow, just like on TouchChat WordPower. Do you notice where on the screen, right, left, middle, the pronouns are on? They're on that left side, just like TouchChat WordPower. What color are the verbs, the action words? They're in green too. They're also in the middle because that's where they go in a sentence. So again, just made for language and literacy development. The home page is not a choice board. An example that I have been giving lately, because I get a lot of requests. Hey, can we put the student's favorite food on the home page? Hey, can we put the student's mother's name on the home page? Hey, can we put thank you on the home page? All of those words are very important, but they're not words that we can use everywhere all the time. Homepage words are words that we can use everywhere we go all the time. You can use think anywhere. You can use get anywhere. An example that I have been giving recently is, I've had requests like, we're going to the pumpkin patch. Can you make a pumpkin patch page for my students when we go to the pumpkin patch? And of course, I'm like, sure, I will. But really, the home page is already the pumpkin patch page. You already have all of those words that you need to communicate at the pumpkin patch on the home page. If you're going to if you're going to a field trip to Subway, people want all of the different Subway ingredients on a page together. But how often on that field trip are you actually going to say the word peppercini or honey wheat? You're usually only going to say it one time when you're ordering your food. And in that case, you can point to it. You can say,
Want.
and then point to the peppercini because it's right in front of you. Or you can say,
not,
and you can point to the one that you don't want on there. And then once you sit down and you're eating with your friends, you're not going to be saying peppercini, 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 peppercini. You're going to say, like,
like,
do you like yours?
sing,
I'm seeing you got more cheese than I got.
help,
Can you help me open my chip bag? All of the language for actual communication and connection is already on that home page. Those nouns are for labeling. And the truth is, when we're actually talking to people, we're not just labeling the things that we see, we're using pronouns and action words and prepositions. So the home page is there. Volume control within the app on TD Snap, you can find it in the dashboard. There's a dashboard button right here and also right up here. Dashboard, and here we have
volume up, volume down, volume up,
the volume control within the app. You also have in TD Snap the ability to search for a word. Here it is. There's my basketball. It pops up right here, and then it highlights it for you. It says touch here, touch here, touch here.
basketball,
There it is. I think Anna was saying sometimes you have to put in a code in order to search. That's actually just an app setting. If you go into here, into user, or maybe it's into system, passcode, you have it toggled where there's a passcode on your search mode. So you can toggle that off and you won't need a passcode to search every time. There's always a way to edit. So let's again go to more things and let's go to clothes. In this one, it says coat and I want it to say jacket. So I pushed the edit. There's a video on this. I don't want to show you exactly how to edit, but just to show you that it's possible. Jacket. And there we have it.
jacket,
So you can edit and customize each of the apps very easily. Tap to speak, just like in the last one we looked at in TD Snap.
like, you, I like you,
We also have the ability to delete just one word or to clear the whole message bar. And then the keyboard. Here's the keyboard right here. And you can
F, R, I, D, A, Y, Friday,
type within the keyboard. So that was 2 of our applications. Now we're going to hop over to Proloquo to Go. Here's Proloquo to Go. Just like TouchChat and TD Snap, there are a bunch of different grid sizes on Proloquo to Go. Appearance, grid size. There, I changed it to 9 or to 30 or to 60. There's lots of different options there as well. We have our home page. On this version of Proloquo to Go, my pronouns are in orange. I think that I can even change that in here. Very good. I just changed it. So now my pronouns are in yellow and they're on the far left, just like the other ones. My verbs are in green in the middle, and then we've got some question words and pronouns and descriptive words following those on the page. So just to show you, home page is home page is home page. They all have a very similar layout, and it doesn't matter how deep you get into things, you can always touch home and go back to that home page and kind of reset yourself if you get lost. Searching for a word on Touch or on Proloquo to Go, in this little 4 square here, you can search for basketball, and then it shows you some different ways you can get there. and then it highlights it just like the other ones.
Basketball.
There is a way to edit all of our words here. So I'm going to go home and go into things and go into clothes. It says jacket. Oh, and it also has a coat. How nice. But you can go and touch edit and select one and change the label on it or add words as well. There's the tap to speak function. I'm going to go home.
I like you. I like you.
There's a delete button. And I think that actually on this one, the clear is just a hold. So it's got those features and then the keyboard, which on Prolo Quota Go is right here. And there's your keyboard. You can, this one right now is not an AQWERTY keyboard. It's the ABC keyboard. That's also changeable. You have that option on all of the different devices where you can change the way that the keyboard is laid out. Okay, the last app that I just want to show you all of these similar features is LAMP Words for Life, which is right here. LAMP just changed their icon on me and it's a different scene. So, LAMP Words for Life, here we have the home page. Do you notice on the home page what color I is? It's in yellow. And where is it on the screen? On the far left. We've got some verbs or to be verbs in green in the middle. There's also other verbs in the middle as well. LAMP, which we'll talk about in a little bit later, is organized much differently than the other apps. And it's not to make your brains break. It's to help individuals who have tons of language in their brains quickly access the words that they want. So we have our home page. We have the volume control within the app. On LAMP, it's in spelling. Volume up, volume down. It doesn't tell us like the other ones. It doesn't speak that out. You can search for a word. I'm going to go back. Menu, word finder. Basketball, find. It's going to show me, and then when I touch it, it highlights it.
Basketball.
There's also a way to edit. I'm going to search for there's clothes. So it says coat and jacket. I've got both of them there, but if I wanted to edit it, I can edit page, select that I want to edit, and change that label if I want. You can customize this one as well. There's the tap to speak.
Basketball clothes.
There's delete, where it takes away one. There's clear, where it takes away the whole message bar. And then there's also a keyboard. So just showing you that, and I'm going to switch over to remove my spotlight, change my video. There I am again, and share out. I just wanted to show you that all of these devices have a home page, volume control, search for a word, edit, tap to speak, delete, clear, and a keyboard. As far as the ABC order, I'm sure there's a way to do it, Anna. I would have to just dive into the settings to play with that. So now we're going to just look at some standout features of each app. I have just a very general, what population is good for each app? What does the app really do very well? TouchChat HD WordPower is a really good app for young children and people with intellectual disabilities. Now, something that you kind of have to hold there for yourself is if you have a young child without an intellectual disability, at some point, if they still need AAC, they're going to grow out of TouchChat. It is going to be too immature for them. So even though TouchChat might seem like a perfect fit for all of your young kids, if they happen, and some kids grow out of their need for AAC, certainly. But if those students are more long-term users of AAC and they don't have an intellectual disability, TouchChat can really top out. And those students, if they need a more robust system, if we have to change which app they're using, they have to learn a whole new language. It would be like moving all of the keys around on your keyboard and giving you different colors and different pictures and a whole different interface uh, to create your communication. I mean, think about how frustrated you get when like Outlook or Gmail updates and things move around. Like even if it's in the same program and things just modify a little bit, it can throw our, typically developing brains off course. TD Snap is really good fit for people with complex bodies. Toby Dynavox does an amazing job at connecting with different access interfaces. They've got great eye gaze technology. They have great switch scanning technology. And also TD Snap has great potential for long-term use. So if you've got a kid, even if they're in preschool now, and we can't tell a lot of times how long they're going to use it, but if we can predict that this might be a long-term user, it's great to set them up with TD Snap early on. That way they don't have to change their system when they have grown out of a different one. Proloquo to Go is a good fit for people with strong categorization skills, and that's how their brain works. For me, if I have a student who's got great categorization skills, and has an intellectual disability, I probably will still knee-jerk to TouchChat because it has other features that I really appreciate. And LAMP Words for Life is a great fit for people who have well-developed cognitive linguistic skills. They have a ton of language here, but not a lot of language here. Because in LAMP, you can get to all thousands of words in 3 taps. Whereas in TouchChat or TD Snap or Proloquo, to get to all of your words, you might be doing 9, 10 taps to get there. So LAMP is hyper efficient if you've got language here.
Can I ask a question? I'm so sorry. But just going back to the other previous slide. So last year I saw TouchChat and TD Snap for the first time. And I don't know if it's just me, but I was so much more confused with TouchChat than TD Snap. And I was wondering like what makes it a good fit for young children, because I felt that TD Snap was better and much, much easier to learn for me, but maybe that's what it is. Is it the amount of taps they have to learn?
It just depends. Okay, for example, that's a great question, Lydia. I'm going to stop my share and we're going to look right here. I'm gonna pin myself and change my video input. Something that is really wonderful about TouchChat for individuals who have intellectual disabilities is that when I touch eat, it takes me to the foods automatically. Now, that's really great when you need that help building language, but once you figure out how to use the device and you're a more spontaneous communicator, what if you want to say, eat me? Then you have to go all the way back around and go home and then go to people and then go to Oh, I can't even find me on here. Maybe I'll go home again.
new,
There we go. So it can be really helpful to help individuals grow the length and complexity of their utterances if they don't have that cognitive linguistic potential. And there are certain schools and certain districts who are very attached to TouchChat, and certain schools and certain districts who are very attached to TD Snap, and certain schools and certain districts who are very attached to LAMP. In Sacramento, they're very attached to Grid and Avaz, which are not even on our exploration today, because people get what they're familiar with and then they stick to it. Let's see, I'm gonna make my video go back to me and share my screen again. Okay, that's a great question, Lydia. So I just want to go through some of these things. We're going to look at TouchChat right now. So first of all, these are the things that TouchChat does really well. They have lots of pre-built page sets made for all types of needs. And that was, I want to see if I can just toggle here. Lost my mouse. USB camera. Stop share. That's when I was talking about menu, choose new vocab. These are all these preset vocabulary files that I was talking about. There's a whole bunch of different English pages. We have the text base, my core. We have all these different WordPower options. So they have a bunch of those things built into the system, which is great, and we love them for that. I'm going to go back. There's also a combination of words and phrases. Can you still see my device okay? And the screen? Okay. Many combinations. So I have individual words,
I, help,
and then also I have phrase-based language.
that's funny. Oh my, leave me alone.
That's a good thing about TouchChat. It's got multimedia options to share. So meaning here in groups, and this is just an example. We can go here and put in videos so people can share videos. They can share sounds. So not just word output, but there's multimedia output that can happen in TouchChat, which we love. It's got that auto navigation function that helps with growth of utterance. So again,
I,
when you touch I, it takes you to the verbs because verbs are usually next in that sentence production. When you touch drink,
Drink.
it takes you to drinks. When you touch watch,
Watch.
it takes you to TVs and movie things. It's got multiple language options, including French, Hebrew, Spanish, and more. So it's got multiple language options, and it also has multiple backup methods. So when you've customized a page set, you can back it up a variety of different ways. So if the device gets lost or broken or the app gets deleted off, there's a way to get that backup back. So those are some pros for TouchChat. Some cons, it has a limited motor plan. In TouchChat, things move around on you a lot.
8,
Right now, those pronouns stood in the same place. But on different pages, you will have the same word in a different place. So there are words that are on multiple pages, and on those pages, they're not always in the same place. It's got limited growth for people who develop more advanced cognitive linguistic skills because it's always going to auto advance for you.
read,
It's going to It's going to take you to a page and auto advance for you, which again is great for somebody who's just learning language, but once they have learned it, it can be a barrier. It's like, for example, when you're trying to text something and you text it and send it and didn't realize that autocorrect put in a whole different word for you. Similarly, TouchChat with WordPower will auto correct you, maybe in a way that you don't want to go. It's difficult to navigate multiple languages. If you've got somebody who uses Spanish, you have to do some deep setting editing in order to make it easier to move between both languages. So you can go to the English page and then bounce over to the Spanish page. It takes some deep editing to be able to do that. And also the programming is not intuitive. When you need to edit the page, there's a lot of, deep, strange pieces within this editing piece. So those are some of the pros and cons I have to TouchChat. Now we're going to look at TD Snap. TD Snap, I'm going to open it up here. Pros, there's many built-in page sets for all types of needs, like I had showed you before. Page sets. We've got all of these different page sets in here as well. Just like TouchChat has a lot of page sets, so does TD Snap. So a lot of different ways to use this screen, just to show you one of them, page set. So that's a different page set and a different layout and a different single words and phrases.
One.
Those single words, phrases.
I don't want to. I agree. I don't understand. Wow, cool.
Lots of different options there. You have multimedia options to share. You can share in here. You can share pictures in here. You can share videos. You can have videos that you took on the device. You can have videos linked to YouTube to just show a moment of a YouTube video in there. Thoughtful features for complex bodies. There's some really well integrated features for individuals who use switch scanning or eye gaze. There's built-in behavior supports. Let's go to home, dashboard, supports. You can build in like little step-by-step schedules in here. This one's an example of how to wash your hands. First then charts are in there. You can do a little scripts in here, which are great. There's also a little visual timer where you can set the timer for 5 minutes, and then this little red bar will slowly turn black and then beep at the end of the time, which is great. There's built-in academic tools through my BoardMaker activities. Hopefully this loads for me because I don't know if I'm logged in. Yes. Addition and subtraction things. It's loading.
50 plus 3 equals.
So you can load different academic activities in here. This is especially great for the kids who don't want to release the device from their hands. You can do math and morning meeting. You can do, there's like so many different, these are just the options that I have loaded on here, but there's tons of different books and learning tools that can be added in. There's a great built-in bilingual toggle if you've got a bilingual user. So page set, let's see if I have it. Let's just do this, create. Now I have this really easy toggle between English and Spanish. TD Snap definitely makes it the easiest to toggle between English and Spanish. It's intuitive and easy to add buttons. So
Like you.
I like you. I've built that up here. If I go into my quick fires or my phrases, I can just add this copy to button and tell it where to go. And now I have added this button in easily.
I like you.
You can quickly print pages and send text to external apps. They have a way to very quickly like print off this page without taking a screenshot. Let's see. There's design for growth because there's lots of space for new vocabulary. In here, there's space here to add more and customize your own vocabulary with like examples of like, this is where we're going to start off, but we've got all of this space here to add customizations. You can share whole page sets or single pages within this. You can use the sync function to, like, I could edit a student's device on mine and then push sync and it will automatically sync with their device. There's tons of language options and there's multiple backup methods. Cons, motor plan only goes to a field of 66. So the biggest one you can go to for the motor plan, which I think is the most robust, is this grid, which a lot of you might be like, wow, that's a lot, but TouchChat does go higher. And it requires more initial customization. So you really have to do which you should be doing anyway, some customization to the device to make sure all of the students' favorite things are in there. Okay, we're going to look at Proloquo to go now. Here we are. So huge flexibility of grid size, which is a major pro of Proloquo to go. Here in my grid size, I can go down to 3 or to 9 and all the way up to 144. One thing that's also amazing that doesn't happen in any other app is if you do edits in this one, like you edit your family members and things in there, and you've got a kid who's using, say, this grid size, and you've edited in their family members or their favorite things, if you actually are like, oh, they need more or less buttons, and you change the grid size, you don't lose your edits, which is it's the only app that does that. It's got combinations of single words and phrases.
I say,
And then also in the chat function.
you're welcome. What do you think? Do you understand?
So you've got those options in there as well. Built-in progressive language feature. I think that actually Proloquo to go does the best job of this. So you notice here how many are on the board, which is quite a lot. I'm actually going to make it a little bit less so you can see better. There we go. I'm going to go into progressive language. So on step 1, we're going to hide most of the words so we can focus on learning this vocabulary. And once this vocabulary has been learned, we can go to step 2. It reveals some more. Step 3, step 4. All of the other devices, you can do this, but it's much more cumbersome. Proloquo to go makes it really easy with just a click of a button. It automatically backs up to Google Drive and Dropbox, which it's the only, like the other apps are just so behind in backups, you just click that you want it to back up and it just automatically backs it up. So if you have made customizations, it's going to wherever you told it to automatically. So if that device gets lost or broken or the app gets deleted, you don't lose your customizations. And it's got thoughtful features for grammar production. So if I hold this button down, will let me choose different versions of the word.
Like,
You can change the voice. That's just the voice I have on here.
stopping,
Cons, it has a limited motor plan. Those words move around a lot. It's difficult to navigate to multiple languages. There's not an easy toggle button between English and Spanish pages. Programming is not intuitive when you go into editing, and you cannot customize layouts beyond the grid size. So, like, if this is your grid size, this is how many squares are on there. You can't add like a big picture or any multimedia stuff. This is what you got. And lastly, I just want to show you LAMP Words for Life. Some pros for LAMP is that it has a consistent motor plan. You can only find the word like in one spot on the whole device. It's right there.
like,
So once you learn where your words that you use frequently are, they are always there. Just like the Q on your keyboard is always where it is, and the M on the keyboard is always where it is. You can always find your words in the same place on LAMP. You also have access to thousands of words within 3 taps.
thickly,
I've never used thickly in a sentence. I just want you to know. It's designed for people with good cognitive linguistic skills to generate spontaneous expression, meaning somebody who's got a lot of words in their brain, they can express exactly what they want easily. It's got a vocabulary builder feature that is similar to the TouchChat or the Proloquo one, where you can create a word list. And that's the words that I want. I have like, go, and popcorn. And when you turn it on, now it's only going to show you
popcorn,
the pathways to those words. So you can really focus on learning specific words at a time, and then you can just toggle that off, and it goes back to your full page set. Cons, it's difficult to navigate multiple languages. The programming is not intuitive for many of us. It's really difficult to gain staff and family buy-in because people often are like, this one looks weird. I don't like it. And I think it looks weird too. There is you could take a whole class on why LAMP is organized like this, of which this is not that class. But there is a very scientific, wonderful method behind this madness. And once you learn how to use it, it is a very effective app. But again, those cognitive linguistic skills are important. You got to have lots of words in your brain that you just need to come out of your fingers. And you also cannot customize grid size. This is the only grid size available, and that's, again, to increase that motor plan. One thing that I really like about it is that it has the full version, the one-hit version, and the transition version. So at first, when you first expose somebody to it, it could be the one hit, meaning this doesn't go anywhere. When you touch it, it says the word you want.
have, do, said,
And then when you jump to the transition, now it just has a few versions.
Go.
I just selected go,
go,
and that's what's on our go page. Whereas in the full version, when I touch go, I have all of these other options too. So there is a method to the madness. I did create this little chart for you that maybe if I click on it, it will take me there. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna bring my face back if it's okay with you. This is a little chart that just has a really basic comparison of those top 4, the best fit, how it's organized, the motor plan emphasis, the training and supports, the behavioral and visual support tools, the alternative access features, the different languages it comes in, the page set options, and the built-in page sets that are considered robust, meaning there's thousands of words available. So that is just a quick glance at the things that we just looked at. Okay, now we have an opportunity for questions. But before you ask any questions, I just want you to put into the chat one takeaway from learning about this huge scope of app choices and the 4 most common apps that are used in Butte County.